Welcome back to CIA Declassified, the broadcast dedicated to dissecting the classified documents that reveal how intelligence agencies seek to exploit the fundamental principles of optics and electromagnetism to achieve total sensory denial. Today, we've moved past passive concealment and camouflage into the realm of active invisibility. We address the chilling fact that U.S. intelligence explored the possibility of creating material surfaces that do not reflect or absorb light, but literally bend it around the object, rendering it optically undetectable. We're analyzing the CIA's involvement in active invisibility and adaptive camouflage, treating visible reality as a strategic vulnerability that can be engineered away. Our primary evidence is CIA Declassified file RDP78-02881R000100020008-8. This report is titled, quote, Metamaterials and Real-Time Spectral Cloaking, end quote. It confirms that specialized physics, material science, and nanofabrication resources were tasked with evaluating the possibility of generating and controlling metamaterials, synthetic composites whose structure, not chemistry, determines their interaction with light. The context here is absolute stealth. If a high-value asset, be it a satellite, a submarine, or a command vehicle, can be made undetectable across the entire sensory spectrum, visible, infrared, and radar, it achieves unprecedented, permanent tactical superiority. The file's existence confirms that manipulating the laws of light itself was viewed as a strategic opportunity to achieve total informational dominance. The analysis focuses on two primary areas: transformation optics for light bending and thermal suppression for complete sensory denial. Let's drill down into the rigorous and highly technical theoretical methodology in this document. The analysts demanded a path to manipulate the appearance of reality. The file required an intense focus on metamaterial design and transformation optics. The research centered on creating structures with negative indices of refraction. These are synthetic materials composed of tiny, precisely arranged elements, often smaller than the wavelength of the light they interact with, that can be engineered to guide, refract, or reflect light in ways impossible for natural materials. The theory proposed applying a thin coating of these metamaterials to the surface of a target object. The structured material would effectively act as a lens, diverting light rays that hit the object around its surface and reconstructing them on the other side, giving the illusion that the object is not present. The key challenge was adaptive multispectral cloaking. True invisibility requires cloaking across the full range of detection: visible light, infrared, heat, and radar frequencies. The material had to be adaptive, instantly adjusting its internal structure to account for changing angles, motion, and varying environmental conditions, like temperature or moisture. The document includes conceptual specifications for establishing thermal suppression protocols, mechanisms for actively cooling or projecting a false thermal signature onto the cloaked surface to prevent detection by sensitive infrared cameras which detect heat rather than reflected light. Crucially, the file dedicated an entire section to energy requirements for active cloaking. Manipulating light in real time requires immense processing power and energy to continually calculate the required light bending path and power the responsive metamaterial grid. We must now examine the primary finding, the agency's assessment of the concept's potential for strategic control. This is a critical excerpt regarding the confirmation of viability. Quote, theoretical models support the engineering of responsive broadband metamaterial surfaces capable of achieving 99.9% spectral suppression across the visible and shortwave infrared bands, confirming the possibility of full spectrum strategic invisibility. End quote. And another quote from a section discussing operational advantage, quote, the ability to insert a large-scale strategic asset, be it a surveillance platform or a weapons delivery system, into denied territory with zero detectable spectral signature grants irreversible strategic advantage, end quote. This is the true meaning of the file. It states that the physics of light are not a limitation, but a strategic tool that can be harnessed and directed. The focus shifted from how do we hide our object to how do we make our object physically non-existent to light. We now address the chilling operational implications of the deployment of active invisibility and strategic maneuvering. The most extensive redactions occur in the section titled Low Observable Penetration Scenarios and Surface Damage Compensation. This suggests detailed discussions around using fully cloaked aircraft or underwater vehicles to penetrate the most heavily defended borders, and the sophisticated engineering required for the metamaterial surface to maintain coherence and invisibility even after sustaining localized damage. Why redact low observable penetration scenarios? Because this section documents the proposed first targets for such technology, illustrating how the ability to defeat radar and visual detection instantly changes the rules of engagement. The concept discussed is the creation of a tactical invisibility grid. The system allows a nation to move high-value assets with impunity, eliminating the need for complex cover and deception plans. The file details the requirement for specialized environmental control systems and a dedicated infrastructure for fabricating and maintaining the delicate structured metamaterial coatings. The strategic weaponization of this research is clear. It is a sensory dominance weapon that fundamentally changes the nature of reconnaissance and force production. A state possessing this capability gains the ability to field a weapon that achieves strategic objectives by dictating what the adversary can and cannot perceive. We conclude our analysis of this document. The existence and scope of the research confirm that U.S. intelligence treated the direct manipulation of light and electromagnetism as an actionable, high-priority strategic objective. The implication is that the analysis moved into the sphere of applied optical physics, seeking to exploit the mechanisms of perception for the sake of perpetual intelligence advantage. This research represents the ultimate weaponization of reality's appearance. If this documented truth has opened your mind to the technological boundaries explored by those in power, we require your continued support. First, like this episode and leave us a detailed 5-star review wherever you listen. This is how the analysis exposes the deeper scientific agendas. Second, share this episode with someone obsessed with optics, stealth technology, or advanced material science. We need more sharp minds analyzing these documented facts. Next, we move from the control of visible reality to the control of physical dimensionality itself. We will analyze the CIA's classified research into dimensionality engineering and controlled chronometric fields. The agency's attempt to investigate the theoretical and engineering feasibility of creating localized time dilation or gravity manipulation fields for tactical advantage, such as instantly paralyzing a target area or making a facility impenetrable. Our next episode will focus on CIA document RDP74-001-0002-0009-1, a startling file concerning applied gravimetric and chronometric manipulation. Tune in for the next episode on dimensionality engineering. Until then, remember, maintain your vigilance, question what you see, and keep your critical thinking sharp. I'll see you in the archives.